everybody. Hope you're having a good morning. It's time for a spiritual vitamin today. I'm going to be reading out of Mark chapter 1, verse 35. Before daybreak the next morning, Jesus got up and went out to an isolated place to pray. You know, that's an interesting verse we've read many times, and the question I asked myself was, why did he decide on that day to get up before daybreak and find an isolated place and pray? And to answer that question, I just kind of looked back through his day, the day before. It started out pretty normal. He went to the synagogue to preach. He'd been preaching in this synagogue for a few weeks. But this was a special day. Some things happened that were really out of the ordinary and quite shocking. A man with a demon jumps up and confronts Jesus, and it's just totally wacky. It throws everything into a crazy place. And everybody is just like on the edge of their seat, including Jesus. And of course, Jesus deals with the demon. He casts him out of the man. Service is over. They go, man, let's go find a place to relax. I got to just unwind. And so they go to Peter's house. And unfortunately, Peter's mother-in-law was not feeling well. And Jesus heals her, and she cooks him a nice meal. And they're sitting around the meal kind of going, wow, what a crazy day we have had. And Jesus, you did really good on that, man. I was so proud of you. And Jesus is going, yeah, that was nuts. And all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. And there's not one person knocking on the door. There's several people standing outside who are all sick, various diseases, more demon-possessed people. The Bible says that Jesus heals them, and the whole stinking town was out there. That's a big day. And so Jesus decides he's going to go out, and he said, I got to go out. Now, remember, Jesus had just spent 40 days praying. He's all prayed up, right? He's like, man, I've had a 40-day quiet time. I'm ready to roll. But, after that day, what I realize is that he's facing some situations he's never faced before. He's never been in these situations before. He's never had demon-possessed people jump up in the middle of the church. That's a shock to your system. That's an emotional, like, wham. I've never had a whole town knocking on my door, everybody wanting a piece of me, and healing person after person after person after person. And it's one thing to imagine what your life would be like in a particular situation. We've all done that, right? Like we're anticipating, I know this is out there. And sometimes you get out in that situation, you go, wow, that was better than I thought it would be. It wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. But I think when Jesus was actually living these situations that he had thought and believed he was going to be confronted with, he had to shake his head and go, good grief, that was intense. That was tough. That was more than I thought it would be. And he was driven, he was compelled to get up that next day and go, you know what? I've got to get my spiritual Wheatie going on here. I have got to get my strength. It's going to take divine power to do what I'm being called to do and to be what I'm being called to be. I don't want to let these people down. I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail my Father. I don't want to fail myself. And so, we're all confronted with some things that we've never been through before. And living them out, walking down that road is a lot different than thinking about what it's going to be like. And sometimes it's a lot harder. And so there's options we could take, right? We could shut down, we could escape, we could medicate, or we could pray. And Jesus made a good choice. And thankfully he did for you and for me. Let's make those choices today as we're living situations that we probably never imagined we'd be in, and that God would help us be all that we need to be. Thanks. Have a great day.